There's a verse that I've referred to several times, and I thought we would look at it tonight or today, whenever you're watching this. And this verse, Jesus is speaking. This is in John chapter 5, and verse 39. And Jesus is speaking, and he tells us how we actually should be reading and understanding what we know as the Old Testament, because he refers to the scriptures. And when he's speaking, the scriptures were the Old Testament, the law, the prophets, the writings. And this is really, really important because, you can go back and you can read different aspects or different parts of the Old Testament and miss the point. I know that because I've done it so many times in my past. In younger days, I misread so much in the Old Testament because I was reading it without seeing what it was about. And this is what Jesus is trying to reveal. Here he's speaking to the religious leaders of his time. And in John 5, I'm just going to take this one verse, verse 39. He's just told them things about he doesn't bear witness. I don't bear witness of myself. My Father does. My works do. And he says in verse 39 of John chapter 5, he says, you search the scriptures. You search them, and they did. The scribes and the Pharisees were very diligent to study and search the scriptures. I mean, this was their passion. This was their what they did. This was their work. This was their efforts, was in the scriptures and searching them and writing commentary on them. In fact, we have from the Pharisees, the Jewish rabbis, we have all this Talmudic wisdom where they wrote a lot of commentary on the scriptures. And so Jesus says, you search them, you study them, you spend time in this. This is your occupation, because in them you think that you have or that you can find eternal life. You think in the scriptures, you think that the scriptures bring you eternal life, because I'll read the scriptures, I'll study them, and I'll know them. I'll find what I can do, what I can't do. And in this, I'm going to find and discover righteousness, and I'm going to discover eternal life. I'm going to find it. He's saying you study, you read, you spend time in the scriptures because you think the scriptures are the path and the way to eternal life. Then he goes on. And these, or it could be a but. That word and in there in the Greek can be but, or it can be and. And he says, but these, the scriptures, the law, the prophets, the writings, the Old Testament, he said, these are they which testify of me. Jesus says that all of the Old Testament, the law and the prophets, the scriptures, testify, bear witness, speak about him. And so the problem with the religious leaders he's speaking to is they want to look and find eternal life in the scriptures, but they can't see, won't hear the word, Jesus. And Jesus is telling them, when you read the scriptures like they're meant to be read, you will see and hear and learn about me. But that's not what you're doing. He said you're using them wrong, trying to find life in this book instead of life in me. Jesus' words here are really important. This one verse in John 5:39, really important. When you read in the scriptures, in the Old Testament specifically, but all of them, if you don't see Jesus, you're actually missing the point. You're actually not even reading what is written into it. We can have the wrong relationship with the scriptures, such that we can be very academic, very disciplined, and just very well educated in what they say, and never hear the word of Jesus. Never hear, never come to know him. All of the law and the prophets, the scriptures, all of it testify of Jesus. And it is the revelation, that revealing, the manifestation of Jesus that's being testified about, that truly we find life and freedom. And so Jesus is telling us that. And so when you read the scriptures, you should find Jesus in there. That's the key. And that's where you truly will find life.